My name is Michael. I met my wife, Amanda, through a friend. She was friendly and outgoing, and we connected right away when we first met. After going out for meals a few times, I started to develop feelings for Amanda, and we began dating. After dating for about 2 years, we started thinking about marriage. We moved in together and got married the following year. We had a big wedding, thinking it was a once-in-a-lifetime event. Our friends put on some fun performances, making the ceremony unforgettable. Married life was pure happiness. We both worked, but Amanda's job often required her to stay late. Still, she usually got home before me and prepared dinner. "Michael, welcome home. Tonight's dinner is pork cutlet," she would say. Amanda knew I loved meat, so she made me dishes 3 times a week, keeping in mind a balanced diet. All of her homemade meals were delicious, and I felt really lucky to have her as my wife until things changed. Almost 3 years into our marriage, I noticed something was different with Amanda. She stopped cooking dinner and waiting for me, and she often went out after work, leaving me alone at home. Before, even when I came home late, there would be a homemade meal on the table, and now it was mostly frozen food or store-bought dishes, which made me feel a bit lonely. But Amanda was also busy with work, and I was caught up with my own job, making it hard for us to spend time together. I told myself she probably needed some time to herself while I was working late, and I realized I hadn't been considering her feelings enough. This went on for about 2 months, and I finally realized that something needed to change. Since work had slowed down, I took some paid leave and planned a trip to a hot spring with Amanda. When I got home, Amanda was lying on the sofa, reading a fashion magazine. She hadn't greeted me with a "welcome home" in a while. "Amanda, I took some time off work for the week after next. How about we go to a hot spring and relax together?" I suggested. Without looking up from her magazine, Amanda replied, "No, I don't feel like it." Her response caught me off guard. I had spent time researching different places to stay and nearby restaurants, planning to surprise her with a detailed travel plan. "Hey, I've been so busy lately that I haven't been able to give you much attention. I thought you might be feeling lonely, so I wanted us to go to the hot spring together and spend some quality time." I assumed Amanda wasn't happy with how things were between us, and I wanted to create time to rebuild our relationship, but her response stayed the same. "It's fine the way it is now. Even if you're not around, I have things to do. Don't worry about it," she said, still focused on her magazine. I couldn't understand why Amanda was acting this way, and I went to bed that night feeling heavy-hearted. I didn't sleep well, and the next morning, I left the house with an uncomfortable tension between us. At work, I couldn't concentrate, so during lunch, I decided to talk to a coworker. "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute? It's not exactly a fight, but something happened with my wife yesterday." "Could she be cheating on you? I mean, do you have any other reason why she suddenly acts so cold?" The word cheating echoed in my mind. I never imagined that Amanda could be unfaithful, but when someone else mentioned it, doubt began to grow, and it started affecting my health. That day, I couldn't focus on work and decided to leave early. When I got home, I went straight to the bedroom, took off my suit jacket, and collapsed onto the bed without changing into my home clothes. There was still some time before Amanda would come home. I decided to sleep until then and felt a bit more relaxed in the cool, dimly lit room with my eyes closed. Since I hadn't slept well the night before, I quickly became drowsy and was almost asleep. I was almost asleep when I heard the front door close and the sound of a woman laughing, along with several people entering the house. I woke up and listened closely to the noises. I recognized Amanda's voice. At first, I thought she had just come home, but then I heard an unfamiliar male voice, which made me more suspicious that she might be cheating. I could hear footsteps approaching the bedroom, and my heart started racing. "Oh, wait," Amanda said as she opened the bedroom door. She hadn't expected me to be there and looked surprised for a moment, but then she spoke in a mocking tone. "Oh, Michael, why are you here?" "I wasn't feeling well, so I left work early and went to bed." "Weren't you supposed to be at work?" "Amanda, I took a paid day off and went out, Amanda replied without any concern for my health. She glanced at Tom standing behind her with his arm around her shoulder. You went out. I wanted to tell the man to keep his hands off my wife, but I felt nauseous and had a headache, so I could only say that weakly. Well, you know now, right? I'm cheating on you with this guy, and it's your fault, so I won't apologize, Amanda said, standing defiantly with her arms crossed. I was stunned that she admitted to cheating so easily. I was completely confused. Stop looking at me like that. You've ignored me for so long. Scott treats me like a real woman, and being with him makes me feel better. He's up to date with current trends since he's a company president, and he's always exciting and fun. I recognized the man Amanda was praising. When she mentioned he was a company president, it clicked. He was the president of XYZ company, a client I had been working with. He had become famous in the industry after starting his business in his 20s. I had visited his company for business and exchanged business cards with him. Why? I asked Amanda. I already told you, that's why, but I don't mind getting a divorce, she replied. When I heard the word divorce, I wanted to stop Amanda, but she started to leave the room with Scott. Are you really okay with ending our marriage so easily? I asked. But Amanda just said it didn't matter anymore and tried to leave with him. Scott flashed a confident smile at me and said, I'll make sure Amanda's happy, so don't worry, before leaving the room with her. After that, I went through a divorce and received alimony. However, I became mentally unwell and had to take time off from work. The reason Amanda cheated was that I prioritized my job and didn't spend enough time with her. To fill the void, Amanda started going to Barcelona, where she met Scott. Since Amanda was naturally friendly, it didn't take long for her to get close to him. During my time off, a colleague I had confided in about the cheating contacted me and informed me that Scott's company, which was a client of ours, had relocated its headquarters and withdrawn from New York. Knowing this, I felt to be relieved that even if I returned to work, I wouldn't have to deal with Scott's company anymore. Several years passed since those difficult days, and I eventually recovered mentally. By a stroke of luck, I met a wonderful woman and decided to remarry. I had changed jobs and moved to a rural area, which was more comfortable and surrounded by nature compared to the city. My new married life was going well, and I was living peacefully. However, I ended up getting involved in another situation. When I arrived at the station, I was taken to a room where my ex-wife, Amanda, was waiting. As soon as she saw me, she started yelling excitedly. This guy, officers, this guy is a stalker. He's been following me around, it's so creepy. Stalker, what are you talking about? I replied, completely shocked. How shameless. There's a limit to how much you can harass someone after breaking up, Amanda continued. I couldn't understand what Amanda was saying, so I asked for an explanation. But Amanda just kept accusing me, and I couldn't figure out the main point of her story. Then a police officer brought in another man. It was Scott. Hey, I heard from Amanda that you've been quite persistent. It's been years since the divorce. Do you still have feelings for her? Scott said. I didn't want to hear this from the person who had caused the divorce, so I asked the police officers who brought Scott in to explain the situation. It turned out that Amanda had been stalked by someone for a long time, and she had reported me to the police because the stalker resembled me. The police investigated and discovered that I had recently moved to this town, so they brought me in for questioning. I understand the situation, but Amanda, I didn't even know you were living in this town, I explained. Yeah, right. Who would believe a criminal's excuse? Amanda responded dismissively, making me angry, but the police officers calmed me down. Is there anyone who can prove your innocence? The officers asked. I decided to have someone come to the police station. A few minutes later, the person I chose arrived. When Scott saw her, he cried out in shock. Ew, Elizabeth. Hi, big brother. It's been a while, she replied. That's right, he had remarried, and my new wife was Scott's sister. Elizabeth, Scott and Amanda, who had no idea about this, seemed to panic. Actually, when Scott's affair with Amanda was discovered by their parents, they cut ties with him. Scott's parents, who were the presidents of a company that ran several businesses, decided to take care of me after learning that their son had hurt someone. At first, I didn't want to interact with the family of Amanda's lover, but as I got to know them, I found peace and eventually fell in love with and married Elizabeth, Scott's sister. "You've got to be kidding me. I haven't heard anything about this," Scott shouted, but Elizabeth, who was used to her brother's behavior, argued back. "Well, I don't have to inform someone who doesn't consider us family anymore. Besides, during the time you claim Michael was stalking Amanda, he was actually having dinner with me at a hotel's restaurant. You can check our names on the reservation list, and the waiter who served us wine can confirm it." With Elizabeth's help, I was finally cleared of all charges. As we left the police station, feeling grateful, Amanda and Scott followed us. Scott grabbed Elizabeth's shoulder. "Wait a minute, did you really marry this guy? He failed in the city and ended up in a rural area. You regret it if you marry someone like him," Scott said. "That's right," Amanda added. "He neglected me a lot when we were married, too. It seemed these two would do anything to ruin our happiness." But as Elizabeth shook off Scott's hand, a luxury car pulled up in front of the police station. As soon as Scott saw the person who got out of the car, he exclaimed, "Oh, Dad." Scott's father glared at him and said, "I have no reason to be called Dad by you. More importantly, it seems you've been quite rude to my daughter and son-in-law." Scott tried to defend himself, saying, "Well, can be helped, can't it? Are you really okay with Elizabeth marrying this loser?" His father responded sharply, "What's with your attitude toward the heir to my company? If anyone's a loser, it's you. Your business only succeeded because of good luck, and you've been acting all high and mighty without even understanding proper management. You have no right to badmouth Michael." It turned out that I had moved to this town to train as the successor to my father-in-law's business, and I had changed jobs to work at one of the group companies here. Defeated, Scott dropped his shoulders, and Amanda desperately tried to talk to him. "Hey, what does this mean? You said you'd inherit the company. Scott's company is doing well, right, if we work hard to grow it." Scott's father interrupted, "What? You haven't heard? His company is on the verge of bankruptcy, and considering his excessive spending, he's probably in debt too, isn't he?" Scott fell silent, having been hit with the harsh truth by his father. Elizabeth added the final blow. "Big brother, you told Michael's ex-wife that you'd definitely make her happy, but it seems you're all talk, aren't you? And to believe that so much do you lack in judgment?" With that, the suspicion of stalking against me was cleared. Afterward, Scott's company went bankrupt, and Amanda left him. On the other hand, I was finally free from the troubles caused by Amanda and Scott, and I am now living a happy life with Elizabeth.